Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've just stepped into a new leadership role, first off, huge congratulations. But hold on a second. Before you start completely overhauling workflows, drafting up new memos, or setting these massive, ambitious targets, we need to talk. Just you and me, because there's an absolute, non-negotiable prerequisite to your leadership success, and it starts on literally day one. You've got to build trust. It is the rock-solid foundation of everything you're going to do. And honestly, without it, nothing else works.
There's this incredibly stark quote that hits the nail right on the head. Without trust, there is no we. And with no we, there is no team. Think about the absolute high stakes we're talking about here. On the one hand, you could have this beautifully unified, high-performing team working perfectly in sync. But on the flip side, if you drop the ball on establishing trust, you end up with a paranoid, back-covering team. People just won't accept your leadership. They'll spend so much of their energy just protecting themselves that you're going to find it almost impossible to actually get anything done.
Okay, so let's dive right into this. We're going to walk through a highly actionable, chronological playbook for your first few weeks. We'll cover the foundation of trust, opening up and connecting, putting actions over empty words, embodying the exact right behaviors, and finally, listening, learning, and elevating. Let's get to it.
Part 1. The foundation of trust, and exactly why you have to prove yourself.
Here's the harsh reality of the situation. You have absolute zero history with this specific team. They don't know you, and honestly, they don't know if they can rely on you yet. You can't just walk in and demand their trust because you've got a fancy new title on your door. You have to actively prove yourself trustworthy before they'll truly accept your leadership. Trust really is the absolute basis of any high-performing team. There's no magic shortcut here. No amount of forced team building exercises, free pizza Fridays, or shiny recognition programs will ever motivate your people to work together if they fundamentally just don't trust you as a person first.
Moving on to Part 2. Open up and connect through the power of self-disclosure.
Your day one strategy actually has to combat human nature a bit. See, people are naturally curious. If you don't share who you really are, well, they're going to fill in the blanks themselves. And usually they fill those blanks with false assumptions or judgments that suddenly become cemented as straight-up facts in the office ecosystem. For a really long time, there was this terrible myth of the mysterious boss. The idea that to command respect, you needed to be this distant, stoic authority figure. Scratch that. It just creates paranoia and distance. A transparent leader, on the other hand, shares a mini bio, talks about who they are outside of work, and genuinely encourages that natural curiosity. Transparency fosters real connection, simply because people trust people they actually know and understand. So, how do we actually put this into action? Well, first, take the lead and share first. You've got to put yourself out there. Second, think about circulating a short bio. Obviously, make sure it's approved by them first if it includes details about other new members, just to help colleagues relate to each other as actual human beings. And third, make time to socialize. Yes, your primary purpose is the work, but your work is going to be infinitely more effective if you create opportunities for your team to relate to each other in low-stakes, fun environments. And I mean environments that don't feel like that stiff, enforced corporate fun. Having real, relaxed interactions builds incredibly deep, lasting trust. All right, Part 3. Actions over empty words. Doing exactly what you say.
In the early project phase of your tenure, it is so incredibly tempting to want to impress everyone right out of the gate. We all want to be the hero, right? But your honesty is way more valuable than boasting about your skills. People would much rather follow someone they know for a fact is reliable. So here is the exact progression for building that early reliability. Number 1, make a realistic promise. Know your capabilities and, crucially, your limitations. Number 2, have the absolute courage to say no if you aren't 100% sure you can deliver. And number 3, deliver a highly relevant, quick win. Look, overpromising and then failing to follow through, that is the absolute fastest way to destroy your credibility. Keep it realistic and just execute.
And hey, when you do achieve that quick win, you absolutely must share credit where it is due. Scoring a win is crucial, for sure, but keeping the team informed and sharing the glory proves that trust goes in both directions. When you clearly communicate and hand trust over to your team by sharing the spotlight, you get that trust back exponentially. It is a real game changer.
Which brings us to Part 4. Embody the right behaviors. Being a role model.
As a leader, you literally set the weather for the team. Over time, people respond to and trust leaders who inspire them by consistently demonstrating high-quality, dependable behaviors. There are 6 core values you need to embody day in and day out: honesty, integrity, respect, loyalty, fairness, and authenticity. And let me warn you right now, if you try to fake authenticity, the team is going to sniff it out immediately. It'll feel off, and boom, you lose their trust. You have to start with a firm belief in exactly who you are.
Let's look a bit closer at one specific behavior that can completely make or break you: accountability. This means taking ownership of your actions and your decisions, and stepping up without frantically looking for a scapegoat when things go wrong. Paint this picture in your head. A high-profile project fails. The team is totally panicking, expecting the usual blame game to start. But instead, you step up, you take the hit, and you flat out refuse to throw anyone under the bus. That single moment of true accountability, that's going to earn you more loyalty than 100 successful projects combined.
Here's another vital behavior: respect the previous systems. It is a notoriously bad habit for new managers to come in like a wrecking ball, just trashing their predecessor to make themselves look like the new hero in town. You need to unlearn that habit immediately. Your team worked hard on those routines. Avoid micromanaging, really respect their past work, and collaborate with their existing systems. It sets your entire new relationship on the right track.
Finally, Part 5. Listen, learn, and elevate. Be present.
This right here is the long-term phase where you transition from just gaining trust to establishing truly unshakable credibility. Let's walk through this timeline for your first few weeks. Week 1, meet one-on-one with every single team member. Week 2, have the real humility to learn the current systems directly from the team, discover what works and what doesn't, straight from the people actually doing the work. And Week 3, find a small problem they've mentioned to you and fix it for them. Guiding yourself through this exact progression shows immense humility. You aren't the know-it-all coming from on high. You are their facilitator.
To actually pull this off, you have to literally step out from behind your emails and memos. Meet one-on-one regularly, ideally every single week. Wander around the office just to stay in touch informally. Keep asking questions until you truly, deeply understand their problems. And give daily praise. Stepping out of your office to genuinely understand what motivates these individuals, it proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that you have their best interests at heart.
And this brings us to the counterintuitive climax of it all. A great leader is a humble leader. Ultimately, the absolute pinnacle of team trust is when you focus entirely on building your people's profiles, not your own. When the team wins, you take a back seat. You let them share in the credit, the glory, the whole shebang. Watching them reap the rewards is literally the only accolade you need.
Which leaves us with this final, completely provocative question to challenge your ego. Are you ready to take a back seat so your team can drive? Building trust takes deliberate effort, it takes vulnerability, and it takes incredible humility. But a truly trusted leader steps back to let their team absolutely shine. Well, that's the playbook. Apply these steps, prove yourself trustworthy, and I promise you, you'll build a team capable of achieving just about anything. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, good luck with your new team.